Hello everyone, I'm your host Thomas28 and welcome back to The Winter Rescue. So, as we left off last episode, I've made quite a lot of changes to the base. I fully encapsulated our generator to build a nice little greenhouse so we can grow all of our crops. Sadly, we did get hit with a blizzard, so all of the wheat died, but looks like all the rye is still surviving, but it looks like the growth got reset down to 0. So, no crops at all. Now if we come out over here, I built this little awning just to stop all the snow, and I redid the design of our generator. So now you can see here, come on this side, using these waterlogged stairs, I'm actually able to produce a fully infinite water supply that gets used by the pump into the boiler, which is really nice. The nice thing about the waterlogged stairs is they never freeze over, which is really good. It also means you can have a very compact design in more locations and the water won't freeze, which is really good. And here is the Frankenstein of a setup I got going on. So I did figure out how to use the mechanical pump to actually make the steam get pulled out faster so you can get the full amount of SU out of your flywheel. And it's actually like this. So pump into the boiler, and then a pump out of the boiler into the steam engine, and then connect the flywheel to the steam engine. And it works out pretty well. And it even runs from a cold start. So now if I come out over here, let's see, do you have fuel? You have some fuel in there. Hit the lever to turn on the boiler, the burning chamber, and now using this clutch, I made it so you can actually do a cold start because it's not connected to the rest of the system until you flip the clutch. So now it turns on, and then to power the rest of the machines, you hit the clutch to send the rotational power through, and all the machines start working. Now I even added clutches to these because they're pretty cheap, apart from the cast iron, and added a whole bunch of machines so I could do stuff less manually. Now, you're hearing that ticking sound, that ding, and that ding is the ding of our mechanical calculator. It's getting to work. This guy eats SU like crazy. As you can see, his kinetic stress impact is 512 SU at the current speed, and he's only running at 8 RPM, which is insane. So the bronze flywheel really can only handle one of these guys at a very slow speed, and as you can see, when it ticks over to the side, you get 20 calculation points, which is really nice. You need the calculation points to start doing the higher tier research, as you can see here. Like, look at the assembly line here that I was working on. The assembly line takes 3.5 thousand IOPs, whatever those mean. And if you do all the clues and research, so two common papers, and submit 32 LV wire coils, that only gets you to 95%. To actually finish off the remaining 200, you have to use the mechanical calculator to generate the remaining calculation points, and then when you right click it, it puts it into the current research. So now we're at 96, and if you highlight this guy over here, you can see it went up. Well, you actually can't see anything because it's rounded, but it did go up by just a little bit. And really, I think what that means is you're not really meant to fully automate a steam engine yet. The purpose of the steam engine is to start running these mechanical calculators so you can actually do the research. Now, right now, I do need a lot more research to finish off, well, research points to finish off some of the research on the drawing desk, which means I'm going to upgrade the bronze flywheel to the cast iron one, which I should be able to. We're going to need a bit more, what are they called? Mechanical crafters to make this. And then let me grab the boiler, and then I lost the other thing, cast iron, this guy, because I had to feed it into the machine to do some research. But with 15 of these mechanical crafters, we should be able to make the cast iron version, which can do double the SU of this guy, which will be 2000, which means we can amp up the speed on the calculator to get research points a lot faster. So first things first, I'm going to turn off the machine for now and engage the clutch. And we're going to engage the clutch over here on the calculator because we need to craft, let's see, cast iron, steam engine. So we need 15 of these in a 3x5 orientation. So we just have to add a couple of these guys here. And I have the gear. Oh, I could just move this gear. Perfect. And set you to up, set you to down. Okay, that should be good enough. Now to build this, we have to do this looking orientation. So fluid pipe, this guy, and this guy. And it's going to go corners and sides. So cast iron plates here. Then propeller and pipes. propeller, pipe. Cogwheel, and shaft. Little cogwheel, big cogwheel, shaft. Perfect. Now if we turn on the engine, this should work. So flick the lever, do the cold start to get it going. Once it starts steaming, that's when you know you can disengage the clutch. And now hit this. And is it working? No, why is this not connected? Oh, I didn't disengage this clutch up here. And there we go. The cast iron engine is being built. And ta-da! There we go. One cast iron steam engine. Done. Now let me disengage this so we don't burn more fuel than we need to. And disengage that clutch and this one. I gotta say, it's really fun using all the levers to like manually turn on the machine. Okay, so now we need to build this big one with 21 frames. So let me take out this one here and there. We need to add this to the top. Man, it sure would be nice if you could just like the cogs, kind of like shift and then click up, but it's not gonna quite work that way. So I should be able to get up here just by climbing over all the machines. See if I can jump up here. Perfect. And add this to this side. Like so. Then we should be able to just add this to make the big one. Now let's orient these. I'm never sure what the correct orientation is. It doesn't really matter too much, as long as they all kind of flow in the right way. So to the right, up, 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 down, down, down. Okay, that looks good. Now to build the flywheel, the entire outside is the sheet. And then it should just be the rest of these, right? Yes. So big cog, little cogs, shafts, and the rest of my sheets. And there we go. I think that's right. Alright, so now let's turn on the engine, hit the cold start, disengage the clutches, and that should be enough SU to turn this on, hopefully. And it's overstressed. Okay, that's not good. Now there is an easy way to do this. We just have to downstep it. Okay, let me turn off the engine. So with this many crafters, we don't have enough SU. So to get around this, it's really simple. We could just make it run slower because the mechanical crafters, their RPM impact is 1.4 times whatever the RPM is. So if we're using too much stress, we just have to lower the stress. So let me steal this rotation speed controller. And I'll just move right here and replace that. So we just need to make this go slower. So I should be able to just come in here, move this for now. If we put a big guy, actually it's right here. So I need this one. I need a gearbox. I'm going to steal you for a second, because I need this guy here, and then that has to be under him like that, right? But to actually make it fit, I need it to kind of move around. So let me move this around. Let's see, vertical gearbox here. And then if I steal some more gearboxes, vertical gearbox once again, and rotate you, like so, and then steal one more gearbox. Should be able to do shaft into gearbox. Okay, now this should turn on. Now if we lower the RPM to 8, that should lower the overall amount of stress it's going to take, and it should work. So do the cold start. And is this actually connected to the rest of the system now that I think about it? Yeah, it is. Okay, it's working. Never mind, it's not working. Why aren't you working? This one's not turning. What? Oh, because you're not a vertical gearbox. Wait, you are a vertical gearbox. Oh, but this one's not a vertical gearbox. Okay, let me break that one. 2 vertical gearboxes. Like that, like this. There we go. And now we're very slowly making the cast iron flywheel. And now that we have a cast iron flywheel, which produces twice as much SU, I don't have to do all this gear spaghetti to get it to work. We could just plug it in directly. I gotta say, it's always annoying using mechanical crafters, but at this size, we should be able to just craft anything we need, really. There we go, one flywheel. And pop off. There we go. And we have everything we need to make the cast iron upgrade. Now, nice enough, because the hand crank produces 256, what's the word? Thingamabob? Oh, I'll just tell you about the simple mechanics while I build it. Now, to build this guy, I will need another big cogwheel, so let me grab that, because the big one is made from all of this. I should have enough cast iron to make this. I believe I do. Remember when I was complaining so much about the riverbeds? You can actually come into the menu here, click World Preview, and it shows you the biomes. So there was actually a desert over here, so I traveled from our base over here to the desert and used that place to get a ton of sand. And then one of the research required magma blocks, so I went to an active volcano over here to get the magma blocks from those, which was very handy. So let's see, this is all coming from this way, but I should be able to just add the clutch to this side, so it shouldn't matter too much. So we're going to need a bit of water. This should remelt eventually. And let me show you how to build this thing. So let me grab, I need some building blocks. Let me grab some building blocks real quick, and it's pretty simple. And up until you get to the steel one, because I tested it in creative, you can still do a cold start. Once you get up to steel, you actually need another engine just to provide enough SU to turn on the steel engine, which I found pretty funny. So we're going to build it on this side. So 1, 2, 3. Grab your spruce stairs and do this kind of orientation. Take your trap door and block off this side. Then you're going to take the pump and the cast iron cogwheel, like so, have that face out. Then you can fill it with the water. So let me take this trapdoor, or actually I could just use the spruce stair to get up here. So let me fill this up with the water to build the infinite water source. There you go. Now take the boiler and the burning chamber on the bottom, boiler on the top, add another pump here. That's the wrong orientation. There we go. Have it facing outward into the cast iron steam engine, like so. Then grab another piece of block and the flywheel, place the block here, flywheel attached, and we're good to go. Because now the rotational force will come out this way and we could connect it to that shaft over there. And this is the main setup. But here's the thing. To get this, to get enough steam into the steam engine from the cast iron boiler, if you do the same setup we had on that side, which is just, that is not how it goes, which is just this guy, which is like this. Oh, because I have a gearbox right there, that's how. Do this, grab the gearbox. We're going to need some more gearboxes to finish this, but let me just cannibalize one of these for now. Like so. Why are you like that? There we go. If you do it like this, this won't work because this cogwheel is not going to pull enough steam out of the boiler to fully supply the steam engine. So in this case, you actually want to use a large cast iron cogwheel in order to fully power it. So we need to take off this and then put the big one here, like so. And then you could just power it like that. Then we should just have to come out over here. And then you'll need to get, you could use 2 vertical gearboxes, which is the design I went with. And then you just have another one there to power it into this. And that does work. And then if you take your crank, I'm going to need to get some cranks. Actually, let me just grab the rest of the materials and then I'll come back in a second. And there we go. So now, hand crank for the cold start, clutch to disengage it from the rest of the system. I put 1 piece of coal coke, so we're going to enable this to start the burning process. Do the cold start with our hand, then this should kick to life. There we go. So now you can see this big cogwheel, it now gets this guy up to 128 SU, which is enough to put the steam into the cast iron steam engine and get us 2048 SU at the current speed, doubling the amount of speed we had over there, which should be enough to run pretty much everything. In addition, the cast iron burning chamber is also 10% more efficient with the fuel, which is pretty nice. So it's not a huge upgrade, but it's double the SU with a higher fuel efficiency for the same amount of fuel. So it actually is pretty big, even though the 10% efficiency is like the smallest part of it. So now that it's connected to the rest of the system, we can throw in the remaining coal, turn the engine back on, always the slowest part, disengage the clutch, and now if I come back to our mechanical calculator that I've reattached and turn you on, it's using 1024 SU at the current speed. So we can actually tick this up just a little bit more, maybe to like 22. Using 1408, okay, we can go a little faster. Let's try 30. And that's too much. Okay, go a little bit down to 24. There we go, 1536. And what happened? Why did you turn off? Not enough steam, water. Overstressed. Huh, it was working earlier. Why aren't you getting enough water now? Steam goes in, steam comes out. Water goes into the boiler. Steam goes into the thing. Now if I flip this to continue our mechanical calculations, 2048. Steam is falling, that's normal. Steam is going up because the steam is moving from here to there. More than enough fuel. Huh, that was weird. Why did it shut off for a second? Oh, I know why it shut off for a second. The problem with this kind of engine design is that when I was messing with the SU, the RPM over there, and it turned it off due to the overstress, once the steam stops getting pulled out, it shuts off pretty fast. But now that we can run the mechanical calculator at a higher speed, we can generate our calculation points a lot faster, as you can see here. Now we get the, what is it? It has to click this, I think, 5 times to get 20 calculation points. So at this speed, I think we're getting about 20 calculation points every like 30 seconds, which is pretty good. And then you right click it and you can see research completed, assembly line. Now we can come in here and say I want the heat radiator. I already finished those, start the research. The thing about the mechanical calculator is that even if you don't have any research going, it'll keep calculating until this is full. So if you don't want to waste it, there is a way to save it and get it to run like autonomously. I'm just not there yet. So right now, the whole purpose of this guy is kind of just to make calculation points a lot faster, which I find very funny. Now, I did take a look at I did do a lot of research online on designs, and what people were saying is you can't really fully automate a tree farm until we get this generator up to tier 2, which I did unlock it, and if you take a look at the Invar block and ponder it, it shows you how to build the tier 2 generator. It's just very expensive, as you can see here. Let's skip to the end. This is everything needed for the tier 2 generator. Iron sheet metal, pretty easy. Blocks of Invar, very expensive, but pretty easy to get overall. High refractory bricks and blocks of cast iron along with fluid pipes. So it's a pretty expensive machine, but it's so much better than the tier 1 generator in that the tier 2 generator lets you move steam around and the steam lets you produce SU, which means with a tier 2 generator, you can pump water into it, have steam come out, and then transfer that steam to a tree farm, so you don't have to run a tree farm off of these diesel generators, off of these big expensive ones. You can run it off of the main home generator, which I believe is like the intended method you're supposed to do it. Now it stopped ticking, which I'm guessing, yep, it's done. Let me grab those so I can continue my research and continue working. Now it is a little bit annoying because, you know, each one can only store 100 and they're pretty expensive on the fuel, but at least it does work so far, which is pretty nice. But now to get ourselves to the tier 2 generator, we have to work our way up to the steel making crucible. Now, I did already finish off the research for all this, the last one being the deployer. Now we just have to craft these guys. The only thing I'm missing here is the LV wire connector and the alternating dynamo, but then we can get the blast furnace preheater, high refractory bricks, the blaze burner, and the rubber. And funny enough, I remember saying, well, how do I get to the nether to make the blaze burner? You actually research the alternative recipe, which makes a blaze burner from a lava bucket, which I thought was pretty funny. And that's the way we're going to do it. So first things first, I need to disengage this guy here. And we need to go ahead and craft ourselves some crushing wheels. So I need to reattach this guy to the rest of the system and make ourselves some crushing wheels. Now with this, we can actually crush our stuff, but some of it isn't really that useful. Like crushed raw iron is made by crushing this, but then you do get a 50% chance though, and you can't do it. Oh, interesting. So you get 50% more on average. And then you can use that to make red dye. That's funny. Huh. Okay, I was gonna say, I don't really need the crushing wheel for anything, but actually, if I can get 50% more ores, that's pretty good, because the crushing wheels are pretty cheap to run. They are a little annoying though, because it's gonna be pretty heavy on the coal to actually keep it running, but it should work for what we need right now. So to make a crushing wheel, we just need a ton of cast iron, planks, and any kind of stone, which I should have available. There's our cast iron. Then we just need any kind of stone, like cobblestone, and some planks. So let me grab all of these. Packed snow is not a plank, so that wouldn't work. But I don't think I have any raw planks available. Oh, there we go. Spruce planks. Perfect. So let me go ahead and attach this guy to the new one. So cogwheel goes here. Oh, I'm going to have to gear... Okay, I'm going to have to cannibalize this again. Probably should make an extra one of these. And let's see. So we already have it coming this way. So I need the rotational force to come here, there, and... Oh, that's not going to work because I hate using the rotation speed controller. It's so annoying because of the positioning. Okay, now it's fully set up. I just had to steal the gearboxes again. And it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Oh, it's just 4. Oh, it does not accept cobblestone. Okay, good thing I double checked that. See, I should have some andesite lying around, because I used a lot of andesite to make ladders and stuff for the scaffolding. Let's see, mud permafrost, gravel, does tough work? It does, perfect. I always love when you can use like the deep slate stuff, because you don't have to process it further. Tough goes in, planks go in the middle, and surrounded by cast iron. To build the crushing wheel, now we just need a little bit of fuel from our blast furnaces. And I did double check the generator, so you don't have to worry about it shutting off. So throw this stuff in here. Turn that off, engage the clutch, do the cold start to re-engage the engine. Disengage the clutch, and craft the crushing wheel. Luckily, if using this kind of stuff, it doesn't really matter if it's slow. So if you always downshift it, it's not really an issue. I always love watching these craft though, it's always so fun. And... crushing wheel, nice, give me. 2 crushing wheels, done. Raw iron and insight, we did get this one, which will get us to belts, which we can craft. I think we just need the vulcanized rubber, and because we can craft blaze burners, we'll be able to get that. Where do I get latex though? So latex is made by mixing sulfur and resin. Where do you get resin? Resin comes from rubber root or dandelion. In a heated mixer. Okay, so it's actually not that difficult. Because I do have a design for... Oh, I need to turn this off real quick. Almost forgot about that. Turn you off. I do have a design for making these sawdust briquettes, but they involve the... what are they called? Mechanical belts, so I'm not able to build it yet. I was thinking originally that I can do it using the drawers, because if you didn't know, you can use drawers kind of like belts, but in this pack they are completely disabled, which I thought was very annoying, because the way it works is essentially use drawer controller slaves and the controller and trims to essentially, to use them as pipes. So you have a drawer controller with the storage, and then the trims move the stuff around, and the slave with a hopper would pull it out, kind of like a pipe. But they just don't work. And it's annoying because they don't say that they disabled it. I had to find it by, what's the word? Playing detective everywhere on the internet until I could find the source where the dev said, oh, that's just been disabled. And I was like, oh, okay, why can't you put that in the pack? That was annoying. Because there was no, what's the word? There was no other indication for why it wasn't working, which was very annoying. But now we can run these crushing wheels. I'm going to have to figure out where to put these, because these guys need gearboxes. We're not running it 24/7, so I could just put it like right here, because that's fine. It doesn't really need to be used right now anyway, so I'll figure that out later, because we want to work our way to the steelmaking crucible. So next we're going to make ourselves a blaze burner, which is cast iron sheet, a bucket of lava, cast iron rods, and constantan. Now, I don't think I have a bucket of lava, mostly because I never needed it. Can I turn magma blocks into lava? No. Can use the bucket though. Then we do need, no, that's for cutting wires. I need 4 constantan sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, actually, if I use the compacting method, and we need 4, I just need 6 of these. And let me save this. 6 of these cast iron rods, pretty easy. Cast iron rods, cast iron sheets, and the lava bucket. There should be some lava underground though, so that shouldn't be too difficult to get. So I'll go grab that, and then we'll be right back. And there we go, got the lava. That's just my shaft going to the mine, because it saves a lot of time from having to run over the hill and then down the hill again. Mostly because I was running over here, but the cave's actually extended all the way over here, which is very nice. So now let's return this guy back on. And let's craft ourselves a blaze burner. Now I did take a look at the recipes, and it seems like we won't need too many right now. You need a heated blaze burner in order to make the resin. You need it for making high refractory bricks, but for the most part there's not too many recipes you have to use, so I don't need too many of these. So put it all together and we get 1 heated blaze burner. And it looks like we're pretty unlucky on the weather, because we're getting another, oh no, it's not a blizzard, it's just a temperature downfall, so not too bad. Because I had a pretty long blizzard that lasted like 7 in-game days, like a couple in-game days, which was very unlucky. There we go, 1 blaze burner. Can we make blaze cakes? Because I thought blaze cakes require yeah, you can't make cinder flour by the looks of it, so no, you cannot make blaze cakes. So any superheated recipes we can't do. So hopefully there aren't any. Blaze burner done, rewards us with some coal. Some machine recipes require a high temperature environment to process correctly. This combustion chamber can easily achieve this. So now we can make high refractory bricks, which is made from fire clay ball, magnesia dust, and quicklime, and then I always forget to turn off the machine after I'm done using it. Let me turn this off. I could keep it on for the processing, but I think I'll do that later. So now we can make high refractory bricks, which will be 1 step away from the steelmaking crucible, must be heated with coal coke. The steelmaking crucible is a more advanced melting equipment than the primitive bloomery. Items can be automatically input from the top or thrown into the crucible Products are exported from the upper half of the side, and fuel is input from the combustion chamber below. If properly blown and fuel is filled, the indicator light in the lower left of the interface will illuminate. Interesting. 18 burning chambers, and I don't have that researched. Now that we have the blaze burner, we can make the high refractory bricks, which is the last step needed to make the tier 2 generator, which is what I wanted to accomplish this episode, so we could actually start working on automating some create stuff, because we'd be able, what's the word I'm looking for? Be able to use Steam to power some of the machines. So all in all, quite a lot of material. But apart from the refractory brick, everything else is pretty easy to get. Like I already have Invar, or I thought I did. Yeah, I got some Invar. Is this enough for... We need 8 Invar blocks worth of this material. So that's 7. Okay, that's 8 Invar blocks. Now to make the iron sheet metal, that's going to take a bunch of iron sheets, but we can craft these at a 3:2 ratio. And we get 4 out of it, so that's not too difficult. So it's mostly just going to be waiting on the refractory brick. So let me set up this guy. We'll put you right here. Hi, little buddy. You're so cute. Okay, so to make refractory brick, we need quicklime, fire clay balls, and magnesia dust. Alright, so this is pretty standard for create. If you've built a crushing wheel before, you know how it works. Now, I do have a little bit of limestone because we did need quicklime, and quicklime is made from flux, and flux can be made in the crushing wheel by crushing limestone or calcite. Luckily, we did have a lot of quicklime and flux left over, but we don't have a lot of magnesite. We have 12 in here, and then, is that it? No, 16 in there. So we have, what is that, 28? Only 28 raw magnesite. Magnesia dust. And it's 1:1. So when you crush this, it's a 50% chance. So we don't need too much, right? We just needed 8, so that should be enough. So let's re-engage this guy. Flick you on. Crank the shaft. Hit that clutch. Hit this clutch. And it's working. I think. They're spinning the opposite... Yep, that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute, these are spinning the opposite way. I usually have this set up, so the items are gonna fly out on the top, which I find funny. But okay, that's kind of what happens when you set it up this way. I think to reverse it, I would have to do like... If I move these gearboxes to this side, I think it would reverse it. But it is quite funny to see it shoot up instead of go down into the chest. Nugget of experience, a speck of inspiration. I don't need these, right? Block of experience. Yeah, no, I could just eat these. Thank you. So now we have the crushed raw magnesite we need to process in the blast furnace. So we re-engage the cold start. That's engaged. Hit this. And I'm just crushing some more bauxite because we did have 37, but I want to keep it equal to the kaolin. So that's going to make our bauxite. And then I did put the clay in there as well. You technically get less clay over just putting it down and breaking it yourself, but I didn't want to place a bunch of clay and then break it myself. I just wanted to use the the crushing wheel to do it for me. Okay, so there's all the clay. So now we can just come to our mixer over here and mix this. So if I remember correctly, and I don't have to, kaolin dust, bauxite, and clay. That's all we have to do. And we just have to get this going. Let me grab this. And... Did I not turn this off? Oh, there it goes. And this hodgepodge is useless. I tried making the... What's the word? Stock using, I think, this fowl meat. It doesn't work. It has to be chicken or the other fowl, which is pretty annoying. Let's see. So I could just move this. That'll be the best use of my time. Okay, disengage you, and make the fire clay. So now that we're going to have a ton of fire clay, now we just have to mix the quicklime and the magnesia dust, which is being made in the furnaces, and we'll be good to go. So now we have a stack of fire clay balls, a stack of quicklime, and 43 magnesia dust. Feed this guy and mix it to produce our refractory bricks. And this should hopefully get us more than enough. And since we produce so much extra fire clay balls, we should be able to convert all of the magnesium into high refractory bricks. Mostly because we're going to need it for the steel making process anyway. So there's no point in only making enough for the tier 2 generator. We're going to need some more later on. And there we go, 48 high refractory bricks. I really thought we would have more, but fire clay is expensive. But that should be enough, right? Because 48, we needed how many? We needed 16, which is 8 times 5, which is 40, which is just enough. So now to make this into this stuff, we need mortar. And I should have some mortar left over. I'm just not sure if I have enough. 26, and I don't think I have any more mortar anywhere. That should be good for now. High refractory brick into this guy. Split that. Split this. 12. That's not enough. So I need more mortar. Mortar is so annoying. Did I unlock an easier way to make this? And now that we have every item we need, we have to tear down the tier 1 generator. Now, I do believe the rye should still live, which is nice. But, well, there's really no but about it. Like, nothing else really matters. This oak sapling is probably going to die, though. And they're pretty rare, so I'm going to take that back. I found him while searching in the, going towards the volcano. There's a couple of oak trees you can find, and I only grabbed him because oak kind of grows easier than spruce. But it kind of seems like only spruce wants to grow anyway, so I'm not sure what the deal is about that. But for now, we need to tear down this generator. Turn you off, and I'm sorry. You've been here a long time. And let me grab my engineer's wrench. Engineer's hammer. So we can build it. So now we do need the basic generator core. That's the only part of this we're going to save. It's a little sad you don't just upgrade the generator, like with another multi-block. That you kind of just tear down the old one. Ooh, honing available. Nice. But hey, I'm not the boss here. So, if I remember correctly, which I don't, it's going to look like this first. So, factory brick. And I already forgot. This is going to take a while. I'm just going to cut it out to when it's done. Alright, so I definitely miscounted the amount of iron sheet metal we were going to need for this. But luckily that's not that big of a deal. And this is why I built the scaffolding. I knew it would come in handy. And it's so cheap too. So we just need 4 more iron sheet metal, which is a little bit annoying. Grab you. And then I have 3 in here, don't I? Yeah, I do have 3. It's annoying because they craft in 4s, and I needed just 1 for something that I don't recall. So I'm going to need this guy to make our sheets. Climb the trees here. I can't wait to automate the tree production. It's going to be so good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if we climb back up here, what did the... That was weird. Just hit this part with the hammer. The generator, Tier 2. Superheated Steam Network. System status, 1 total endpoint. I have no idea what that means. We're going to have to consult the quest book. The redstone signal interface is used to switch states. It maintains the state when no signal is provided. 1 to 5 turns off the generator, 6 to 10 turns it on, and above 11 turns on the generator and overloads it. You may need IE's redstone wire cable to control it. The blue interface is for fluid input, and the orange interface is for energy output. Items can be input and output from any location on the generator. I already forgot what it said. So we can input items from anywhere in the generator. So this is the redstone control. What was blue again? Okay, so water goes into the blue. Energy comes out the orange. Redstone control is here. Then it did say we can use the Immersive Engineering redstone wires. Redstone, yeah, wire. Transmits redstone signals, which is made from aluminum wire. Do I have aluminum? Aluminum sheet, aluminum ingot, blast furnace, aluminum dust. I don't think I have aluminum dust. Aluminum hydroxide dust is made from mixing crushed raw bauxite and sodium hydroxide dust. Sodium hydroxide dust is water and sodium chloride. Sodium chloride comes from crushed raw halite. Interesting. You know, it's funny. I just read today, oh, bauxite is quite useful. That's where we get aluminum from. And they didn't want to make it easy. Instead of having an aluminum ore, we're going to have to process it from raw bauxite. But we should still be able to turn this on, though, because it's controlled from redstone. To turn it off, we need power signal 1 to 5 or 6 to 10, which I think we can still check that. Redstone. I should have a lever somewhere. There we go. Lever. Because if we do this... Yeah, it does show the power. Actually, yeah, I knew there was something I remembered from... It's not this. If we grab a treated stick and one of these, we can combine this into an analog lever. And with this guy, I should be able to put you here. And you can set the strength. So right now that's off, and then I think you just have to shift to it, yeah, to turn it the other way. So if we want to turn on the generator, we just have to do it to number 6. So we turn this to 5, so it's still off. And then if we put in our coal... Oh wait, I could just hit the turn on button? Okay, so I kind of overthought it. I was thinking it can only be turned on via redstone. But I should be able to do this, right? So if we go to number 6, it turns on. We go back to 5, it turns off. So we can control it with redstone, which is the what's the word? The nice thing. Now we just have to have fluid get pumped inside, which is pretty easy via pump. One pump. And if we just grab our buckets, we could just build another infinite water supply using the whatchamacallit method I just showed you. With the stairs, let's grab some wood. We'll make it out of treated wood this time because I have it on hand. Treated wood. And I should have one trapdoor. Perfect. Grab the water. So all we have to do is put this pump here. Make it turn the right way. Like so. Move these. Grab this. Put you there. Grab a little cogwheel. We're fancy. We're using cast iron cogwheels now. Put the water inside. I'm going to need one more source of water. We're going to steal it from over here. For infinite water. So now we just have to somehow... Oh, that's really tight, actually. Like so. Yep, 1 bucket of water to produce steam. So now if we turn this on, I wonder, where does the steam... I think the steam comes out the front. There's a lot you can see here. Once you unlock the tier 2 generator, you unlock quite a lot of stuff. And the main thing is this one, the heater. This lets you expand the base because you can push the steam to the heater to heat more areas. But I think what we need to do right now is I need to tear down all of these trees so I can turn them into charcoal. That way we can heat the generator. And then, using the steam powered from the generator, not the steam powered from the generator, using the steam produced from the generator, we can power a tree farm, which I'm going to have to figure out how to do. So I'm going to mess around in creative mode to see how to actually build that. Because for this to work, we need to farm trees, turn that into high efficiency fuel to repower the generator to get more trees, and then eventually have a surplus of steam so we can power other things. But at this point, you have already guessed it, this episode has gone on quite long enough. I'm your host, Thomas28, and I'll see you guys next time.